keep an eye on the participant chat in case I do need to let them in. But yeah, welcome to your um, volunteer orientation for the Marine Mammal Care Center. I'm so excited that you'll be joining our team. Today, during our meeting, we'll be going through the following points. So first, I'll teach you all about the Marine Mammal Care Center, who we are, and a little bit about the history of our organization. We'll talk about patients and we'll see if you can identify each of the different species that we care for here at the hospital. I'll
Mhm.
go through different volunteer roles that are available. And if you're interested in taking on a second role or switching at some point, then you can learn about those different roles that we have. We'll
Mhm.
go through some different safety information and policies and procedures. And then if you have any questions, we'll have a part for you to ask those questions.
Okay.
But without further ado, we'll first talk about our mission. So our mission is to inspire ocean conservation, which we do through marine mammal rescue, rehabilitation, education, and research. Um, we have a lot of visitors that are coming to the center. We're open for public visitation Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, and Mondays from 10 to 4. And so by becoming an education volunteer, you're helping to provide all of our visitors with a good experience, and hopefully they'll come away with that inspiration to contribute to ocean conservation.
Mhm.
We are a 501(c)(3) nonprofit organization, and we get a lot of our funding from grants that we're writing. We get donations from the community. Um, a lot of our visitors become donors and will help us to stay afloat. But of course, we can't do any of the work that we're doing without our huge volunteer body. Right now, we're looking at a ratio of about 17 volunteers to one staff member. So
Mm.
lots and lots of volunteer effort is going towards our mission, and just ensuring that we can serve that mission for the community and for the marine mammals that live here in Los Angeles.
Okay.
So we'll just go through a little bit of our history. We started as a part of Marine Land of the Pacific, a like marine theme park that was in Rancho Palos Verdes. It closed in 1987, but we established our permanent facility at Fort MacArthur, where we are right now. This facility opened in 1992, and we were purchased from a book publishing company, but we're also
Mm.
on LA Unified School District property. So
Mhm.
there are a couple of schools also that share a parking lot with us. And then in 2016, sorry, we became our own nonprofit organization. And so this is who we are today.
Mhm.
We are part of the West Coast Marine Mammal Stranding Network under the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration's National Marine Fisheries Service. So this is how we are permitted to rehabilitate, rescue, and release these marine mammals. Marine mammals are protected species. You cannot take, harass, threaten, kill any of them because of the Marine Mammal Protection Act of 1972. And any just regular person cannot go out and rescue a sea lion and rehabilitate it at home. We are part of that stranding network who does have the permitting to do that. So
Okay.
that's why we have this facility here. The team members that you'll be specifically working with, if you're, let me double check your particular schedule actually. Um,
Gonna be
so
Saturday
you are
mornings.
Saturdays. So you
Mhm.
are going to be working mostly with Roger. Roger is our weekend programs coordinator. But if you happen to be on a weekday, you'll get all four of us usually. Dave Bader is our Chief Operations and Education Officer. Jessica is our education programs manager, and I am the volunteer services manager. So if
Mhm.
you need anything from any of us, we're all happy to help. Jessica is doing the scheduling, so you might have received the email already from her reminding you of your shift.
Mhm.
When you come in, you'll be checking in with Roger, and he will set you up with your name badge, who you're going to shadow, and he's going to help you along the way and provide all those training steps. So this is your team. This is who you'll be reporting to. But of course, there's lots of other volunteers that are going to be working with you as well. I don't have all of their pictures, but I'm sure you'll get to know all of them very well too.
Okay.
All right. You might be wondering what is a marine mammal stranding? And it could be any of these four things. But mostly what we're getting here at the center are animals that are on the shore. They can return to the water, but they are in need of apparent medical attention. And so looking at these pictures on the left, do you see why the animal on top would be someone that we would be concerned has stranded?
Mm, it looks emaciated, so it looks to me like the animal's been there for a while.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely clearly emaciated. There's no meat on its bones. If you look at the bottom picture, you've got nice blubbery sea lions there, and sea lions need blubber in order to stay warm. But it's
Mhm.
also an energy reserve for them. So this
Mhm.
picture of the animal on top is a emaciated pup. It has very saggy skin where there used to be blubber probably. Its eyes are very flat, and that's a sign of dehydration. Sea lions do not drink fresh water normally. They get their water metabolically from the food that they're eating. So if they're not eating well, they're also dehydrated. And this animal does need to come in for care. If you look at the
Okay.
picture at the bottom, of course, it might be difficult to tell who is in need of medical care, but the fact that this animal is all by itself is a pretty good sign that you've got a stranded marine mammal. Oh, and
Mhm.
it looks like Becca's coming in, so we will let her in. Hi, Becca. We just got started. I'm going to send the recording in a little bit so you can just watch the first couple of slides then. But yeah, welcome to the orientation.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we see our patients, a couple of examples of our patients that we're caring for here. So we are the Marine Mammal Care Center, but most of the animals that are coming in for care are going to be pinnipeds or flipper-footed animals. We see two different kinds, the otariids, which are the sea lions and the fur seals, and the phocids, which are the true seals. On top, we've got the otariid, and on the bottom, we've got the phocid. Just from any prior knowledge, or if you've reviewed any of the material that I have sent you, or paid a visit to the Marine Mammal Care Center, what are some ways that you already know how to tell the difference between the two?
Well, sea lions have ears that are more prominent than the seals.
Definitely. So if you look at the picture on top, you've got a California sea lion with those external ear flaps. If you look at the picture on the bottom, this elephant seal, you can't really see those ears. Like I can see a tiny little opening, which leads to the inner ear. But yeah, that's a great way to tell if you're looking at an otariid or a phocid. The otariids or the sea lions and fur seals will have those external ear flaps. Very good, Lauren. Are there any other ways that you already know of?
The true seals lay on their belly the whole time and like galumph, and the sea lions like mainly like just walk, I
Oh my
guess.
gosh, you already know the word galumph. That's perfect. Yes. So the phocids or the true seals will use that type of locomotion where they're just kind of scooching along with their abdominal muscles. They can't turn their rear flippers underneath their body like the sea lions can and run on all four of their flippers. So yeah, that's a really great way is if you're seeing that galumph, galumph, galumph motion, you're looking at a true seal. Very good. While we're on the topic of flippers, the sea lions have strong front flippers, and so they can stand on those front flippers. The elephant seals will have, or sorry, true seals will have shorter front flippers. And if you look at where those little claws come out, you can see on the front flippers, that's where you can see for the true seals. And the tops of the rear flippers is where you can see for the sea lions. Awesome. My favorite way to tell the difference is by listening to them. And I have a video coming up and you'll hear the different vocalizations of these animals. Just from like prior experience being out in nature, have either of you heard California sea lions before?
Yeah, I have.
Yes.
I've been
Yeah,
on
they have.
like
Yeah.
several boating
Yes,
trips.
and they're loud, right? They're known for
Mm.
that bark or for that roar. So if you hear that is a California sea lion, adult male, vocalizing. And then the elephant seals are my favorite. They make crazy screaming, wailing sounds. So especially in March is when they start to come in. We have one yearling right now, and they kind of sound like
That's so silly.
I know they make crazy voices. And that's why I love them so much. But they also, I mean, there's different kinds of seals too, and so harbor seals are very quiet. So lots of different vocalizations between all the different species of pinnipeds, but we'll take a closer look at each one now. All right, so we've got California sea lions as the first first species that we're going to highlight here. So California sea lions, we get them of all different age classes. This picture here is of a pup, and this is mostly the age class that we have on site today. Lots of pups, which are patients between 0 and 1 year old. They usually will spend 6 months to a year with their moms. They're still nursing. They're practicing swimming in the tide pools with other sea lions. And then when we get them, it's typically in February or March. So they're usually starting to wean, or they might be a little prematurely weaned at that point. And that's when they start to strand emaciated. We also get yearling sizes, which are I think these are like on the cusp. These are yearlings slash pups down here. At like mid-June is when most California sea lions are born. And so we call June 15th the sea lion's birthday, just because that's when about 50% of them are born. And so at this point, this is probably in April or May, and so they might just be almost a year old. We get subadults and adults as well. Adult males can get up to about 800 pounds when fully grown. And you'll notice that they have a little mohawk on the top of their heads, and that's how they establish dominance. And the females will be like a blonde or a silvery color, but they get to be about 400 pounds when they're fully grown. So we get all different age classes of California sea lions. With the elephant seals, we do have one yearling right now, and she is teeny tiny. But most of what we're getting here are the pups. So with northern elephant seals, they are born in late December to early January. They spend 28 days with their moms just nursing. Their moms are fasting at that point. They're not going out and back to hunt and come back and feed their pups. They are just providing pups with about 200 pounds of weight before they leave. So when March comes around, mid-March usually is when we get our first elephant seal pups in. They are down to their birth weight, which is about 60 to 80 pounds in weight. So they have a very, very difficult life when they're first getting started. And springtime is when we typically will see them. You might have noticed that there is coloring on the foreheads of this elephant seal, and this is one way that we can distinguish each individual patient from each other. Each of the elephant seals that come in will get a different color combination. And so that is one of the different ways that we identify. So if you see just like an elephant seal with red on its head, that is just the little crayon, and it will come off. It comes off I think it's like 3 days at most that it stays on. There's also a shave, which I think you might be able to see. Yeah, you can see it in this picture right here on the bottom. There is a shave down here. These are given to the patients on the first day when they are admitted. And that's just how we can keep track. These animals will grow that fur back, so no damage, no permanent damage is done, but it's another way that we can identify the patients in case that crayon does come off. There's also flipper tags. There's a tiny little orange flipper tag that you can see in this picture down here. And that's got a serial number on it. So you can tell that patient's number based on the name, the number on the tag. So lots of different ways to identify these patients. These animals are going to be very large when they're fully grown. The males will get to be over 4,000 pounds in weight, and the females will get to be about 1,000 pounds in weight. If you've ever seen a walrus in person, they are bigger than walruses, so huge, huge animals. And if you ever want to see them in person, that's not at the center. You can go to San Simeon. There's a rookery up there where you can check out the different elephant seal age classes that are coming back to shore throughout the year. Really fun.
That is so cool.
I love them.
How long are the elephant seals like pregnant for?
Each one, so they're about 9 months. It's
Mhm.
very similar to humans, but they have delayed implantation where they can wait until the conditions are favorable. They will usually come back to shore, mate, or wait, I think I said that in the wrong order. But they will be on shore for a certain period of time where they can do all the things that they need to do. They need to molt, they need to give birth to their pups, and they need to mate. And then they go out to sea for about 9 months of the year and they come back and do it again. So they can hang on to that for that whole year until they return back to shore.
And also, you said that they spend a few months like just nursing them. Do they also teach their kids like hunting strategies, or is that just like innate and they already know it?
It should be innate. They
Oh.
don't do anything like that for their pups.
Okay.
So when it's time, they spend 28 days, so not even a full month,
Mhm.
just nursing. And then they go, all right, I've given you all I can. See ya. They head out to sea. So yeah, not a lot of teaching going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very incredible that they can survive though.
Hmm.
And so when we get them, they're back down to their birth weight or near birth weight. And that's where
Sure.
we put all that weight back on them and then we put them back to the ocean. All right, we've got another phosid here. These are harbor seals. Kind of similar in body shape to elephant seals, but much, much smaller. If you look at their fur, that's going to be another indicator of what species that you're looking at. So harbor seals can either be like black with white spots or gray with black spots. And they make tiny little sounds. So that's another way that you can tell what species you're looking at here. This tends to be a lot of people's favorite just because they're so little and they're so cute. And I think that's a great way to tell if you're looking at a harbor seal or not. All right, and finally we've got fur seals. These are pretty rare when they come in, but we did have one that we just released last week. These animals are relying mostly on their fur to keep warm. They have about 250,000 hairs per square inch instead of using or relying on their blubber. So when you see them in the pens, they'll be twirling around, they'll be putting air between their skin and the fur and making sure it stays nice and insulated. They'll always be grooming so that they can keep that fur nice and clean and just make sure it's doing its job. They are similar to California sea lions in their body shape. They have those external ear flaps and they have kind of the similar head shape as well. So those are all four of the species that we usually see here. There are other marine mammals out there though that could use our help. These include dolphins, porpoises, and whales. Unfortunately, if these types of animals strand, they're not going to fare well. So we can provide them with euthanasia so that they can be relieved of that suffering. Or if there is another organization that will take them, we can do a transport. But usually these animals are not doing well. If they strand on beaches, they are trying to pass. So that is the service that we can offer those types of marine mammals. All right, now that we've learned all about seals and sea lions, we can watch a video and you can tell me which animal you think we're looking at. And hopefully you will be able to hear the sound. Can you guys hear the sound?
No.
No.
Oh, rats. I thought I did it. Well, I'm happy to scream like an elephant seal for you again if you want to, but I think you got the idea last time. So these are our elephant seals. Since you can't hear the sound, I'm going to turn it all the way down. And just like you said earlier, we've got that galoping motion. All right. Do you think you have a guess for what type of species we're looking at here?
Sea lion.
I think this is
Very
the
close.
first seal, yeah.
These are the fur seals, yes. And how can you tell that we're looking at fur seals right now?
Because of the amount of hair that is on it, and because of the ears, they're like not as little as the sea lion, but they still are pretty prominent.
Yeah, they stick out kind of like alien-like, I think. But if you watch how this one is grooming, that is definitely a fur seal. But yeah, it does look very similar to a sea lion. It's just when they start their behaviors that you can tell.
Mm.
All right, what do we have now?
Sea lion.
There you go, sea lions.
Mhm.
Look how blubbery they are. It looks like they don't have hair. They definitely do have hair, but they're very, very hydrodynamic. They're really great at swimming fast in the water, just like when they're excited to eat, like this video is showing right here. And this is the most commonly seen patients that we have at the Marine Mammal Care Center. This is mostly what you'll be seeing throughout the year, but we will have lots of Ellies, not as many harbor seals, not as many fur seals, but these are the patients that you'll usually see, and we want them to have that nice thick blubber layer on them. Oh yeah, and they love to cuddle. They're always cuddling. Always want to be on top of each other.
He's
Someone
so
screams,
cute.
I know. Very cute. All right, and the last species we have here, what do you guys think we're looking at now?
Harbor seal.
Yeah, there you go,
Oh, I saw
harbor
the
seal.
pattern just now.
Yeah, you've got that gray with the dark spots, and this is an example of black with white spots. Perfect, so now you guys can be experts when you're here. Of course, we'll give you lots of chances to get to know the different species, so you'll get more and more familiar with each one.
Why is it easier to help the seals rather than like dolphins and porpoises?
With the dolphins and porpoises, we need to have specialized pools, which I don't know if I had a picture of it, but let me see if I go back to that slide. Yeah, so you have to have specialized pools. You need to have staff on site 24/7. Just like these two staff members, this is not us, this is the Institute for Marine Mammal Studies in, I think it's Alabama. But they're holding this animal up because they need to breathe air through this blowhole. And so we don't have that 24-hour support. We don't have those specialized pools. So those animals would not be able to be rehabilitated here if they even make the trip back to the center. It's
Okay.
really, really difficult. But yeah, great question. There are SeaWorld San Diego is a part of the Marine Mammal Stranding Network on the West Coast. And so if they have the capacity to take a bottlenose dolphin, we can transport that animal down there. But
Okay.
none of the other rehabilitation centers around here have that capacity, unfortunately. Good question. All right. Any other questions so far?
I think
All
I'm
right.
good so far. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Perfect. We'll carry on then. All right. So the patient process. It starts with an animal that strands on the beach, and a member of the public will report it. So our phone number is right here for LA County. It's 1-800-39-WHALE. If you want to jot this down, so that you can share it if you are on the beach and you see a marine mammal, or if you want to share it with anyone you know who wants to report marine mammals, this is who you can call. The California Wildlife Center is our partner in Malibu. So if you are in Malibu and you see a stranded marine mammal, you can call this phone number here. Of course, you can always look up the phone numbers of different areas and locations if you want to report marine mammals. And then in Long Beach, animal control does not respond to very many. Usually we will go out for those calls too, but this is their phone number. So all of us are working together to help with the rescue of the animals. So I thought I had, there we go. It's just in a weird order. So this is what a rescue looks like. This is one of our rescue team members, Jules. He spotted a sea lion on this jetty right here, and he's just gonna catch it with a net. The element of surprise really helps. And this is just a little pup, so he's able to do this on his own. But if there's a bigger animal, he might have help of another team member or lifeguard that's around. And so they can help with the rescue too. So after he's captured in the net, we have to transport it to the center. And he's using this big metal cage to house the animal so it doesn't have to sit in the net the whole way back to the center. Safety first, big gloves. All right. And the animal's loaded up and he's ready to come back to the hospital. Oops. So there's a number of reasons why these animals are coming in for care. It can be due to natural causes like pneumonia. They might have liver problems. Fish have lots and lots of parasites, so they might be having to deal with that. But the main reason why we're getting patients is for malnutrition and malnourishment. So when they're here at the center, we'll definitely do our best to get them to the proper body weight. We'll hydrate them right when they come in for care, and hopefully they can make a good recovery. There are natural injuries that we see these animals come in with as well, like shark bite wounds or stingray barbs. They might have broken bones or abscesses, and we can, if that's a part of the patient plan, we can bandage up any broken bones. We can give them medications to help get them through. There's different natural and toxicological events that can happen. So if we are in an El Nino year, it might affect where the food is located. And so these animals might come in malnourished because they can't find enough food. I don't know if you guys have seen us over the past few years, but domoic acid poisoning was the reason why we were getting so many patients in. And these animals were coming in with neurological symptoms like seizures, extreme lethargy. They might have been chasing people, confusion. And so that's what that domoic acid toxicosis can do. It can really affect their neurological processing. And so last year, I think we had about 120 or so patients on site at the same time. So we never love to see that, but sometimes I think the worst cases are when we get human interaction cases. So we'll see animals with gunshot wounds sometimes. They're entangled in fishing hooks and fishing lines or gill nets. And so this animal in this picture down here was probably entangled in a gill net. So brought here, we can cut all of that debris off and help get it through the rehabilitation process. Of course, there's lots and lots of other reasons why these animals are stranding, but this is generally what we're seeing here. And we'll do our best in our pup dates when you are both on site to let you know what's going on and kind of the treatment process for these animals. All right, when the animals are brought to the center, sometimes they'll be in these small kennels or sometimes they'll be in that big metal cage that you saw earlier. But when they are first brought in, we'll give them a full exam. So we'll measure them from the tip of the nose to the tip of the tail. We'll check and make sure all their mucous membranes look nice and pink. We'll see if they're breathing properly, if they're using all 4 of their flippers. One of the first things that we'll do is we'll rehydrate them. So we have a tube feeding going on here. She's probably giving it some water, but we can do subcutaneous fluids as well. With elephant seals, we'll usually tag them on their rear flippers right on intake. Sea lions will give them a little bit of time before we tag them. But we'll also take a blood sample, which you'll see with Dr. Palmer in this picture up here. She's running a test for blood work. And then we can come up with the treatment plan after doing all of that examination. And sometimes if we suspect that there's an ingestion of fish hooks, we'll wait till the animal has stabilized a little bit more before we can do x-rays. But as you can see this picture down here, there's a fish hook in the esophagus. So we'll need to either remove that hook or let it naturally pass. Yeah, that's all part of the intake process. Next comes the rehabilitation process. And that's when we're feeding them, we're cleaning their pens, we're making sure that they're making progress, we're giving them medications, we're helping them to get back on their flippers. And then hopefully from all the work that we're doing here, you'll see really skinny animals with different conditions turning into big releasable patients that can go back to the ocean. And so now you get to watch a release video. So we'll usually just take the kennel straight to the beach. With some of the yearling sea lions, the bigger ones, we'll just open the doors and they'll hop out right away, just like this. With some of the elephant seals, they take a little bit longer. They'll look behind them. Are you sure you want me to go? I'll go if you want me to, but
That
I don't
is so
know.
sweet.
Yeah, but with the sea lions, sometimes they wait for their friends. We'll give them as long as they need to acclimate to the new environment, to run out together. And so those are always really, really exciting days. We have a release event coming up on February 10th, but we'll have lots of other opportunities for you to see these events in person as well. So yeah, excited to share that with you. All right, I'm going to pause right here for a quick water break, and if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask them. All right, we'll continue with volunteer roles. So we've got a lot of different volunteers that are on site. Right now we have about 340 volunteers in our entire volunteer body. and they're serving different roles. So we've got our animal care team. This consists of our animal care training program interns, our year-round animal care volunteers, and our seasonal animal care volunteers. We do have a lot of seasonality with the center. We get most of our strandings in the springtime. And in September or October, it's typically a very light patient caseload. So that's why we have seasonal volunteers that are not here the entire year, but to help us with support of things like dishes and fish prep and cleaning kennels. We have our interns who are doing 3 months of very hard work. They're learning things very fast, but we have our year-round volunteers who are learning at a nice pace, and they stay with this. It's kind of the permanent role for the animal care team. On our education team, we've got gift shop volunteers who are helping us to process donations. They're selling the merchandise, they're restocking, interacting with visitors inside of our visitor center. We also have our docents, and that's going to be a big role where you're leading tours, you're talking to our visitors about our mission, you're getting them inspired to make a positive change for marine mammals and for the ocean in general. And you're also answering any questions that they have. We'll also give you lots of tools that you need in order to put together this fabulous story. We'll do pup dates every morning and afternoon where we'll tell you who is on site, what they are working through their complaint or reason for coming into the center, and any other big things that are happening that we want you to draw the visitors' attention to. So lots of support will be given to you in that sense. We've got our team greeters, and those are the volunteers who are helping to check in our visitors for their scheduled visits, or if they are just walking up, then they are registering them to visit and setting them up with the docents to lead the tours. We've got outreach events where we'll go out to the community, we'll bring in educational table, we'll talk about our mission out in the community and invite people to come to the center to visit us. And then we've got our education interns who are also here for a short amount of time, but they're doing the docent work. They're also teaching classes and putting together a project that can help the center even after they have finished their internship. On top of that, we've got fundraising and development volunteers. We've got photography volunteers. We have our Pinniped Patrol, which is also an offsite, kind of like an offsite docent. They're responding to any animals that are called on the beaches, and they're talking to the public about the center, letting them know that help is on the way, to not approach these thick stranded animals, and just spreading that awareness out in the wilds. An offshoot of Pinniped Patrol is our Burton Chase Park Hub, and this is just an outreach booth at Marina Del Rey, where we'll be talking about the animals that are typically in the marina. And there's lots of other different roles, so if you have any artistic abilities or any other things that you can contribute, just let me know and I can see if there's a different role that we can get you in as well. So as education volunteers, I think we talked about this, but you're going to be providing guests with the education, talking about the facility, the animals, supporting the mission. There's going to be little projects to do in case there's not a lot of visitors on any given day. So a lot of work that you'll do will all be to help the Marine Mammal Care Center, even if it doesn't fall into the specific role that you are assigned. This is just a quick little look at what our facility looks like. So we've got visitors at the fence. I think this was just a special day where the docent was inside the fence because of a special event. But usually you're going to be standing where my friend Donna is standing and just talking about the patients. We'll usually have a chalkboard up at the fence so that visitors can read it and say, oh, that's confetti right there. That's the first patient that was rescued at the Marine Mammal Care Center. That's really cool. Can you tell me? And they'll ask you like, oh, can you tell me why this animal is stranded? And you'll be able to provide information about those animals. All right, now comes my favorite part, how to sign in and log your hours. So when I sent you your welcome email, kind of set you up with how to log your hours. And you can log your hours for today. In fact, please do that after you're done. This is how you can sign in using the time clock. So what you'll do is you'll log in. You'll click Marine Mammal Care Center in case you're volunteering anywhere else. You might have a different tab up here. Open that up and hit Start Clock. Scroll down to whatever shift you're on, and then hit Start Clock. That will make sure that your time clock is running. When you're ready to go, check out for the day, you'll log back in, and then instead of Start Clock, you'll see Stop Clock, and you'll just hit Stop Clock, and you might have to hit it twice just to get back to the home screen, and that's how you will clock in and out for the day. For today, sorry, I didn't put the slide up, but if you go to these 3 lines down here, it'll open up a menu and you just go to hours and then you can log hours manually. So there's 2 different ways that you can log your hours. Try both of them, figure out which one works best for you. And if you need any help, feel free to email me. I'm happy to help walk you through those steps. All right, now we can go to where to check in. So on your first day when you arrive for your shift, you will be parking in the International Bird Rescue Center's parking lot, which is down here in this picture over here. This is the Marine Mammal Care Center right here. We've got our main lot here, but we are trying to save these spaces for our visitors. So if you can park in front of the International Bird Rescue Center, which is the building that's right next to us, you'll see a big parking lot, lots of spaces, so park in here, and then you'll just walk up to the Marine Mammal Care Center that way. Some people do get lost on their first day. So on your first day, just try to come a little bit early, and you'll be navigating to the Marine Mammal Care Center. Sometimes Google Maps will take you down to the Korean Bell, but if you type in Marine Mammal Care Center, think that's the best way to go about it. Let's see. And then if you are in, you are in education, sorry. You'll walk to the education office to check in. And this is where you will be, the volunteer station will be. So from the parking lot, you'll go up these steps over here. And then you'll go around the back. The glass windows is our visitor center, which you'll eventually be in. But just for signing in purposes, you'll keep on walking down this pathway. Here's the women's room. And the men's room. And those are the patient pens. But you are going to be checking into the laboratory. And this is the office where you'll check in. And that's where we'll meet you. All right, so in the laboratory, you'll find your name badge. I have them organized alphabetically by your first name. So Becca, I have you under the B, so you'll look here. And Lauren, I have you under Lauren, so L will be right here. You can pick up your name badge. We'll have some lanyards that are just right next to it. And so you can grab a lanyard, put it on your badge, and take that with you for the day. If you would like to leave your name badge, you're more than welcome to leave them in our card holders here. If you would prefer to take it home, definitely feel free to do so. You can leave your snacks and water in our refrigerator, which we can show you on your first day. And then there's volunteer cubbies behind here. And so you can leave all of your belongings in the laboratory while you are volunteering. Or if you want to take your water bottle with you, you can do that too. We are relying on you to keep a consistent schedule. So I have your schedules up already. If you have any schedule changes, you'll let Jessica and Roger know. And you can also remove your shift from the schedule as well. But we try to keep our absences to 10 per year. Unless you're every other, then try to keep it to 5 per year. Like I said, you can make your changes in the schedule using My Impact. If you go to the schedule, you can click through until you get to a shift that you would like to drop and just hit decline for that shift, and that'll take you off the schedule. If you have any last minute schedule changes, though, you won't be able to use My Impact to change it. So you will text this phone number, which if you want to take a picture of the slide, please do that, or program this number into your phones now. This will be how you can call out last minute. The phone number is 213-536-7410. And this is just a texting line. No one will answer the call. But when you call out, put your name, the shift you are on, and when you expect to return. And that way, Dave, Roger, Jessica, and I will all get this message. So in case Roger is not there that day, Jessica can see that you texted out, or I can see that you texted out, and then we'll know not to expect you that day. But the more notice you give us, the better. Because we might try to fill in any slots that are empty or places where we need extra volunteer support. So the earlier, the better, please. All right, in terms of photo policy, we're trying to be professional when we're on the floor. So if you can keep your phones just tucked away while you are talking to visitors, that'd be awesome. We will post lots of content for you, so feel free to use Marine Mammal Care Center's photos and share our stories with your friends and family online. Since we're on LA Unified School District property, please do not bring alcohol, drugs, or firearms on site. And if you get injured while you're on site, let us know and we can fill out an injury report. And then we can make sure that we keep or make it better, make put a caution tape up or put something up so we can make it safer for everyone on site. Some of the perks. So when you first start volunteering, Roger, Jessica, or I will get you a volunteer t-shirt. You don't have to wear this every single week if you don't want to, but it is nice because it identifies you as a Marine Mammal Care Center volunteer. You will get 10% off in the gift shop, so definitely feel free to keep shopping with us. We do Volunteer Appreciation Week in April, but we'll also have an appreciation event later on in the fall this year. Of course, you're helping to work with a protected species and you're a part of our mission. So those are all the wonderful perks about being a Marine Mammal Care Center volunteer. If there are other ways that you would like to help, of course, we love it when you bring your friends and family here to visit the center. You can show them this new place that you are volunteering at and show them what you do on a weekly basis. There's different one-off volunteer roles that we'll ask for extra support on, like our release events, we might ask for volunteers to help support there. Definitely share our mission, share our content that we have online with anyone that you would like or on your personal pages. And if your employer will do an employee match program where they will match your hours of service with a monetary donation, just fill out the paperwork, get that back to me, And that's another great way to help. Okay, and with that, that is everything that I wanted to cover today. But did either of you have any questions that were not answered during the presentation?
Nope,
No,
I
I'm
think
good.
yeah. What I did have a question about was to log our hours for today.
Mhm.
So it says we have to include an activity, so what would that be?
Trainings and meetings. Great question. Yeah, if you scroll down, it will be training/meetings for today.
Okay.
And then
And
you
then
can just put in the time.
okay, sounds good.
Awesome. Thank you, Becca. All right, perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining me this afternoon for your volunteer orientation. Hope you're excited to get started very soon. We look forward to working with you, and we will talk again very, very soon. So thank you so much.
Good,
Thank
I'm
you so
so
much. I'm so
excited.
excited to
Thank
start.
you.
Thank you.
See you Friday.
See you Friday.
See you
Bye.
Saturday.
See you Saturday. Bye.
Bye.